We continue with some state inspection commands. This time I want to show you a specific command, which is called the question mark or evaluate expression. It is one of the most powerful commands to inspect the contents of registers or memory. We are going to continue with increaser.ascii. I remind you that this program is just about reading from some list of dwords, increasing every dword, and keeping the results inside destination list. At the same time, the dwords are printed to the console. We are not going to deal much at this point with the way this program operates. We don't really care about this at this example. I first assemble the program. Let's make sure that it runs. Good. Now I'm going to open WinDBG. I'll resize WinDBG. And next, I'm going to open increaser.exe. I'll copy the path. And I open the program. As usual, I get increaser.exe in a paused state, and also the command line of the debugger. I begin by putting a breakpoint on the entry point, and next I press the go command. I stop at the first instruction of the code. Let's see more instructions in the disassembly window. We first step over the first 3 instructions. At this point, we already know that ESI points to the source array and EDI points to the destination array. We could look at the contents of ESI using the dd command. Here we can see the source array. And here we can see the destination array. Currently, it is filled with zeros. It is still empty. The command that I want to show you is the question mark command. It really is a question mark, and it allows us to inspect the values of both memory locations and registers. Let's see some basic question mark usage. This command is going to find out the value of ECX. We could do it, for example, also with the R command. We get the same results. We can also use the question mark command to find out the values both of ESI and EDI. And we can do some more complicated stuff. For example, ESI plus ECX. Or maybe EDI minus ESI. We can even add constants. This is just like some kind of a very complicated calculator. You could put in almost anything that you can think about. Here I multiply ECX by 5. And this is mostly the basic part we've covered so far about the question mark command. It also allows us to access memory. We already know how to access the memory pointed by ESI. It could be done, for example, using the dd command. We could also use the question mark command to find out the contents of the dword at location ESI in memory. Doing just question mark ESI will not give us the requested number. For example, here we want to get the number 1. If we just use this command, $ESI, we are going to get only the address and not the contents of the memory. If we want to get the contents of the memory in some address, we should use this syntax, POI. POI is an operator. It stands for pointer, and it allows us to find out what is inside address ESI. As an example, we got 1. If we wanted the next value, we could, for example, write POI ESI plus 4, which would give us the next D word, which is 5. If we were working with a 64-bit program, then POI would give us 64-bit words instead of 32-bit words. This is another example. Here we read the value 8. It could even get more interesting than that. We could, for example, add the first 2 values of the source list. This is going to add the value 1 plus 5, which is going to be 6. Just as an interesting question, I want to show you something else. We could evaluate the value of EBP, which is currently this number. We already know that EBPs in different functions make together some kind of a linked list. Therefore, we could, for example, do something like this and read the D word at address EBP. Then we get this number. We can even continue further and find out this value, which is obtained by first checking out the D word at address EBP and using that D word as an address. Then we find out the D word at that address, and we get this value. I leave it to you to think what those expressions mean. Try to create a picture that shows how those values relate to each other and to the stack. This is basically what I wanted to show you about the question mark syntax. It is really powerful and I really recommend you to use it.